Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Eris, who is going to be the War of Champions Season 4 character reward. If you hit 150,000 points in War of Champions, you will get all 5 copies of this character. Just keep that in mind. Visually she looks really cool. I like it, kind of like I don't know, barbarian queen here on her throne on the left hand side. On the right hand side, I like the stance as well. We've seen a couple of characters with the double, dagger stance and that, and you can see the sword in her back. That's actually the War of Champions winner's weapon, and I like the fact that it just ties in here. That's actually really cool overall. Now, unfortunately, I don't have her fully maxed out on the stats, but she is level 720 here. This is level 720 base level. She will obviously have lieutenants added onto this. And she has 20,570 base attack, 15,428 base defense, and 15,428 base HP. If you want a comparison to her stat balance, she has pretty much identical stat balance and stats as Gold Mythic Titan. Now, she is a fast character, of course, holding those daggers. She is a tank role character as well, mythic character, of course, and she will be a character to be added to the Day 1 Allegiance. Next up, we'll look at Eris's Adrenaline Rush, and it is called Superb Aid. It's a 66 AP cost rush, so fast. Revive 2 teammates with 50% of their max HP. Those teammates get 50% Halo for 2 turns and Guardian Shield. Deal 400% damage to 2 enemies. This is obviously very nice indeed. The fact that the characters that are getting revived get Halo on them as well means if you do take them out again, and with 50% max HP, it will be easier to take them out, so you will need someone else to do some healing. But if you do take them out, they'll obviously be able to self-revive effectively at the beginning of their next turn again. And it is a 50% Halo, so again, they'll revive at 50% HP. But they also get a Guardian Shield on them on top, so it's just going to be added difficulty to actually take out these characters. The deal 400% damage to 2 enemies is nice. And on face value, it doesn't really look like that big a deal, honestly. But I will say that 400% damage to 2 enemies is extremely important when it comes to the rest of Eris's kit. So we'll just check out the Adrenaline Rush, and I'm attacking. You can see I'm in a lot of trouble. Both my teammates are downed, but I have got the Adrenaline Rush on Eris right now herself. If we hit the Adrenaline Rush, you can see that I am going to be doing damage. It will be blocked by Guardian Shields in this case, but my teammates will be picked up. The revives will come in, and this will basically make it so that, your survivability on attack or defense will be greatly increased. The fact that she has an offensive balance does mean that she can be used quite heavily on an attack team, but however, I will say a lot of her kit is also geared towards a defense team as well. And the fact that she does have those revives and her specialist skill, the way it works as well, you're going to know that she's going to be picking up people quite a lot. Now, when it comes to the upgrades on the Adrenaline Rush, you can see that at grade 3, it gets +1 revive target. At grade 5, it gets an upgrade where it deals 400% damage to 2 enemies. And at limit break 2, it gets another upgrade where revive teammates get Halo for 2 turns and Guardian Shield. The thing about this is, this doesn't actually matter because the only way to get this character is in War of Champions. And when you get this character, you get all 5 at the same time. So you're going to have LB3 or you're going to have nothing. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. I would definitely say it's worth LB3ing this character. Do I need to say that? Just because you're going to get the most out of their kit, most out of their stats, most out of the Adrenaline Rush. The Adrenaline Rush is really, really nice. And like I said it before, it plays into other parts of Eris's kit extremely, extremely well. I will say this Eris is one of the more well-rounded characters out there for sure. Next up, we'll look at Eris's signature move, and it is called Head First Assault. It has got an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 2 turns, number of uses unlimited. This character gets 100% decapitation resistance for 2 turns. While battling on the defense team, 2 enemies get 150% infection for 2 turns. So 2 things on this, pretty nice. The decap resistance is amazing. The fact that it has a 2-turn cooldown as well means that this is going to be a lot of the time. And while battling on the defense team, infection part of this signature move is also very nice. This does kind of push her more towards a defense team than an attack team, however, just because there's no sort of offensive output of any kind. It's just more decap protection on an attack team, and you don't really deal with too many decaps from defense teams. But if she's a support character, you can mainly look at it as just her adrenaline rush when it comes to the revives and such. But on a defense team, this is going to be brutal. Two very good things here. Increasing her long-term survivability, and I will say decap resistance plays into other parts of her kit if you can kind of guess. And the infection obviously just means more takedown potential, which is obviously great. Okay, now we're going to have Eris on defense, and we're going to let her use her signature move. This is going to give her that decap resistance, but it's also going to do the infection to 2 enemies, which you should see. And we've got characters that have like the likes of decap and crosshairs on the attack here. If we just let this roll through, what you're going to see is Eris will get taken down, but because she's got that decap resistance, she's not going to be unrevivable. Now you'll see other parts of her kit kind of come into play when it comes to her specialist skill. It is Outlast. You guys know how this works. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you do see some other things happening as well. She has obviously got passives and weapons that are going to come into play as well. But it all ties together extremely well when it comes to Eris's kit. Now looking at the upgrades now on the signature move, you can see at grade 2 she gets -1 to cooldown. Grade 4 she gets an upgrade where on defense 2 enemies get infection for 2 turns and it's 50% infection. And then at limit break 1 it's -1 to starting cooldown, and at limit break 3 it's plus 100% infection. I'm not really going to go through it too much because again, you're going to get all 5 characters if you get Eris, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to basically get the LB3 instantly, and it is definitely worth LB3ing her if you can. Now the signature move itself is obviously very powerful. Decap resistance just alone on a defense team is going to be extremely useful, and it does obviously resist the both forms of decap that are out there at the moment. Decap specialist skills and decap on like crosshairs, so it's going to be resisting both of those. Now if you were to daze her and stop her from doing this signature move, then obviously she wouldn't get the decap resistance. It looks like Eris could be a daze resist style of character for sure. So now we'll look at Eris's mythic abilities. These are her passive skills. She is a tank, so she is going to get critical hit resistance. That means it's going to be harder to hit critical attacks on her, which is going to be nicer. She's going to basically have slightly improved survivability because of that. The next one is called Adrenaline. When entering Outlast while battling on the defense team, 100% chance this character gets 300% attack for 2 turns. Now, this doesn't maybe seem that amazing, but it will play into the fact that you'll be able to get her rush off all the time, because when you go into Outlast, you do get 100% AP, and that rush will be basically triple damaged on Outlast. And it will play into other parts of her kit, which we'll just get into in a second. But this is really nice for her to be able to take down 2 enemies with that adrenaline rush. Very hard hitting when it actually goes off. The next one is Outlasting Death. This character has a 70% normalized resistance. Outlast is one of the more frustrating specialist skills here, and being able to protect it with normalized resistance obviously is very powerful. 70% I believe is the highest normalized resistance we have in the game, so that's just something to note. And Eris's last passive is called Near Death Experience. It is like an improved version of Outlast Governor's passive, but in this case, when entering Outlast, Eris has a 100% chance to recover from all penalties. This is obviously fantastic when you're in Outlast. If someone just put a confuse on you, even if you go into Outlast, you're not going to be able to do anything. In this case, it doesn't matter whether she's stunned, taunted, confused, or even all at the same time. She's going to be able to cleanse everything, and that is going to be able to make her get off that rush every single time. And it is worth noting as well, she should cleanse crosshairs, because as much as she has got decap resistance on her signature move, that obviously can be blocked like by daze or something, whereas when she goes into Outlast, the only way you can decap her is with an actual decap character, because she will always cleanse crosshairs, she will always be revivable. Okay, so we are on the defense team again, and Eris has got a couple of teammates that have been taken out already, and we're going to try and normalize her with Titan, and obviously this is going to get resisted. It's a 70% chance, so more often than not you are going to resist this. Now we are going to get some controlling on her as well. We're going to get some stuns, we're going to get some confuses. She is controlled in this situation, and when we take her out, you're going to see it get fully cleansed. And then she's obviously going to have that big attack boost when it comes to doing her adrenaline rush in that Outlast state. It just gives her a much better chance of taking down 2 enemies. You may not even have to gear her too offensively to actually get the big numbers. Remember, attack team characters don't have the highest stats. Now, as you can see, she is in a revivable state, but not just in a revivable state. She has actually got a potential revive on the way as well, and this is because of one other part of her kit, which we'll get into in a second. Next, we'll look at the upgrades on her passives, and we'll just go through it quickly because, again, you're going to get this character LB3 or not at all. Adrenaline is grade 1, strength is at grade 2, and the second half of adrenaline is at grade 3. That means that adrenaline overall is going to be the cheapest one to upgrade, and I will say for her entire kit, this is very important. I think a lot of her passes are important, honestly. At grade 4, she is going to get that normalized resistance, the first 30% of the 70%. At grade 5, she's going to get a 50% chance to recover from all penalties, and even that alone is extremely powerful. Then she gets the limit break upgrades. Grade limit break 1, she gets the second half of strength, which obviously stacks with the first half. She gets the second half of outlasting death again, which stacks with the first half, and then it goes up to 70%. And then at LB3, she gets the second half of near death experience, which again stacks with the first half, and this time it goes up to 100% chance to recover from all penalties. I would say Eris's passives are extremely important to max out. I don't think there's anyone in here that's worth not tearing up. If you were somehow short on military supplies and there was one particular one you couldn't get maxed out, I would say probably strength would be the one that you could upgrade last, just because it is nice, but it isn't as important for Eris's kit as the rest. So very powerful passives here, but she has got some other stuff in her kit which is still gonna make her even stronger, and one of those things is her specialist skill. So checking out her specialist skill is of course Outlast. She gets bonuses from going into the Outlast state in her passives, I think on 2 of the passives, and it basically is when this specialist is defeated, their death is delayed for 1 turn, during which they may still take an action and they receive 100% AP. You did see that in the previous clip with her passives. She got 100% AP, and in this case she would 100% cleanse everything, so she would always be able to do that rush. It is a really powerful combo between those Outlast passives and her actual specialist skill itself. Outlast is one of the more powerful specialist skills on the defense team. It has endless proc potential. It's every time she's taken down. It isn't just like the first time or the first 2 times. I think it probably could be limited to balance it a little bit, maybe to like 4 times. If a character goes into Outlast 4 times, they've done their job, honestly. But as it stands, it's got endless potential, never-ending Outlasts, and with Eris's kit, this is very likely to happen. And that would be because of her weapon. You would have seen this proccing before, and her weapon is honestly amazing. It has got 40% HP, 35% defense, improved absolute defense plus slow when being attacked, a 60% chance to reduce the damage to 0 and apply a 20% slow to the attacker for their next turn. And in the 4th slot, you would have seen this proccing before, and honestly it is amazing. Champion's Breath. When killing an enemy, this character gets 50% Halo for 2 turns. She's very likely to take out an enemy with her Adrenaline Rush, just because when she goes into Outlast, she gets a boost to the damage and obviously boosts that rush output potential. Against an attacking character, she's doing effectively 1000% plus on her rush, and most of the time she's going to get 1 takedown. That's all she needs to do, is get 1 takedown. She'll go into Halo while in Outlast, and then she'll be revived and she's all ready to go again. And of course, just from doing her rush, she will of course get the revives in no matter what. So if she doesn't somehow kill somebody, she could pick up another revive, and then that revive could potentially pick her up, and then we're going around again. So that is Gold Mythic Eris. Like I said, she is the War of Champions character reward. If you hit 150,000 milestone, you'll get all 5 copies of this character. And honestly, she is really powerful. She's one of the most powerful characters in the game, and she is exclusive to War of Champions. I'll give my deeper thoughts on that in terms of how healthy that is long term in the game, but Eris undeniably is an amazing character. If you're going to War of Champions, I would say you 100% should hit 150,000 points. This character is basically an ultra recruit for free. Do give me your thoughts though on Eris in the comments down below. That is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.